What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be reviewing the Active brand, Active pressure washers. There are two options for their foam cannons. Now it's essentially the same unit, but it comes with either brass fittings and internals or stainless steel. Pretty good price difference between the two of them. The stainless steel one's considerably more expensive, and in my personal opinion guys, there is zero reason to go with the stainless steel one. Honestly, 99% of all the foam cannons, the MTM, the MJJC, the Adams, the Max Shine, all those guys come with brass internals. So no reason to go with that stainless steel. It's above and beyond, but the way I look at it is if the Navy uses brass for a lot of things, it's probably good enough for just soapy water, right? Now, Active pressure washers are known to be quality, high-performing pressure washers. Now, there was some issues with their past units. They had an issue with their power button on top. That seemed to be resolved, but they are releasing their new 2.0 version that looks absolutely amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on it and actually test it out, but looks like a really, really good option. So I'm excited for that. So with the performance of their pressure washers, I expect some pretty good performance out of these foam cannons as well. But we're gonna go ahead and open these up. I'm gonna do a full unboxing. We're gonna open them up, look at the internals. We're gonna look and see how serviceable this unit is, and then we're gonna test it out and see how it compares to some of the other top performers. And as always guys, if you like these types of videos, anything related to car detailing, tips, tricks, how-tos, and product reviews, then please consider subscribing. I also have a link down in the description for you. I have a kind of detailing simplified free PDF. It helps to simplify the detailing process. I know there's a million products out there. I've tested so many of them, and I just break it down to a few key pieces that I use in my business. So if you're interested, check that out. Otherwise, let's get back to the video. So right off the bat, guys, I will say the packaging that these comes in is pretty bad. They leave a lot to be desired here. It's just basic thin cardboard. I mean, like, not great. You can see here, very, very simple packaging. Everything's just kind of thrown in there. So this is the stainless steel unit. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull it out, as well as the bottle. So you get the bottle, the head unit, obviously, and then a little instruction manual. And now I'm gonna go ahead and do the same, just open up the brass unit as well. But as you guys can see, it's the exact same kind of packaging. Now it does say in the directions that it comes with a 1.25 orifice installed, but it also comes with a spare 1.1. So if you're using a pressure washer with a lower GPM, lower PSI, use that 1.1. That's what we're gonna be testing it with, because I'm gonna test it with a Ryobi 1800 PSI unit. Gets about the same numbers as the 1600, and that's what I've always tested everything on. So we're gonna get that and see just how much foam it can actually generate. So that gives us a good opportunity to check out the internals, so let's do it. Okay guys, so here are the units. Here are the bottles. Now, one thing to note right off the bat, the bottle, there's no branding on it, and it looks like a pretty generic bottle to me. So not super impressed with the bottle. It's got good grip, good nice wide base so it'll stand up. All that's good to go. I don't see any measurement guide on it though, which is interesting because that's a pretty standard thing. So no measurement guide on it. And then also, as you can see, it's a small mouth opening. I typically like the large mouth opening. It's just easier to pour in your soaps. So not a deal breaker, but definitely not ideal. Also guys, it is a plastic onto a metal head, which I'm not typically a fan of because you can potentially strip these out pretty easily just because the metal's so much harder than the plastic is. But it's just one of those things to take into consideration as you use it. Now the head units are nice. They seem like good quality. They are branded Active right on them. Let's see if that'll focus for you guys. Right there, branded Active on the stainless steel one. And then also harder to see, but also on the brass one, it is branded as well. Now the components that these things come with are the exact same. So the straw, not ideal here guys. As you can see just from the packaging already, it is pinched. So not a big fan of that. I don't know if you guys can see that really, really well. There we go. So it's pinched there, not great. And it is a pretty stiff tube. Now, I mean, I can just press that out and get it, you know, the pinch goes away, no problem. But it is a stiff tube. You see there's no bend to it. And for me, that's a problem. I don't like that because especially as you get to the end of your soap, if you're spraying it this way and the straw is here, all your solution is going to be on the bottom corner and you're not going to be picking any up. So I like it when the straw is either soft or there's a weighted bearing at the bottom so it stays in the solution. So for my testing here guys, I am going to be just testing the brass unit because that's what I'm going to recommend to you. There is added value on the stainless steel one. Technically it should last longer, but the added cost I don't think justifies it. So we're just gonna go ahead and use the brass one because that's the one I'm gonna recommend to you guys. No need to pay extra money for stainless steel. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get that bottle out of here. We're gonna move this one over into the middle along with the brass head unit. The straw, again, this one is not pinched, but again, very, very stiff. So again, obviously same stuff. And then you do get the 1.1 orifice in addition to the 1.5 or 1.25 that's installed. So that's a nice, very nice feature, because I always recommend upgrading that, especially if you have a lower PSI pressure washer. I always recommend getting that. This comes with it, so you don't even have to worry about it. Now I know right off the bat that this 1.1 is gonna get more foam than the 1.25, and we wanna test the foam capability of this thing. So right away, I'm gonna go ahead and swap this out. I'm gonna open this thing up. As you can see, I've done a whole video on how to open these up and how to service them and everything else. This one's a basic pin system, so I'm just gonna grab a little miniature screwdriver and push that through. Okay guys, so I was able to push it through, no problem there. Pull this out. Now, before I go any further, I do want to state that the head unit does not change from vertical to horizontal like some of the higher end units does. It just opens and closes, so you're going to get that 0 to 45-ish degree spray pattern of your foam fan. So let me go ahead and pull this pin out, and then we'll see if this is serviceable, if we're able to access the foam filter and all that kind of good stuff. So you just take out that pin, pull off the nozzle. Okay, and then right behind here is where your foam filter will be. So I'm just going to get a little wrench on it, and sometimes they Loctite these things down. Again, I'm going to do this off camera real quick just to try and torque it down. And this one is removable, so good job, Active. I like that a lot. So here we go. You have the O-ring there that it seats down on, and then there is your foam filter. So that's awesome. You're able to service this thing. So in order to get that out, you can just go through the top here and get the foam filter removed. Now I'm not going to, it's just a standard filter, the usual type, just a kind of steel mesh in there. So I'm not gonna pull that out, but good to know that it is serviceable. It does look like they had some Loctite on there, but not too much where you couldn't open it up. So that's great. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and reassemble this portion. That was really just to see how serviceable it is. That's not where the orifice is. I'll show you where that is in just a moment. Okay, so I've got that tightened back on. We're gonna go ahead and slip this back over the top. You gotta make sure that it seats over that O-ring. There you go. And then we can take the pin, stick it back in, and get it to seat down, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so everything is good to go with the head unit. Now, obviously for the straw, you just slip it over this little piece here. Now for the orifice though, you wanna change it out to this 1.1 orifice. You just basically take this quick connect portion here, you just wanna tighten down on it, back it off. There'll be a nice O-ring there, as you can see, and you just pull that off, and then there is your orifice. Right inside there, there's a little slot on it, so you're able just to take a nice flathead screwdriver, get it in there, and back it out. Okay, so there's the 1.25, and here is the 1.1. I don't know if you guys can tell from this footage, especially probably not because it's not focusing very well. There we go. So this is the 1.25, this is the 1.1. The little hole inside is smaller, so this is the one we're gonna use. And then basically just to put this in, you're just reversing the steps. Just the threaded end, just drop it in there. Make sure it doesn't cross the thread. You don't want that to happen. But just work it in slowly. Yeah, and it catches right away, it's perfect. Tighten that down, there we go. And then just reattach your quick connect. All right guys, so I went ahead and filled up just a little bit. It's approximately 2 ounces. It just covers the bottom there of Mr. Pink. I'm using Mr. Pink because that's kind of my standard when I do these tests. That way we know the exact performance between all of them because we're using Mr. Pink. One thing I wanted to note, guys, design-wise of this unit, I'm gonna just put the straw in real quick, even though I do have to fill it up with water. Again, I don't like the fact that it's metal on plastic. That's not my favorite, but whatever. It does sit nicely, and it does appear like they were kind of going after the MTM look. Obviously, it's not. The MTM is a fantastic machine. As you can see, it does have the measuring on the side, and it is metal on metal as well here, but just this plastic feels a little more robust, and this unit here is known to be one of the best performers. It's not a cheap unit, but it works fantastic. My personal favorite is the MJJC Foam Cannon Pro. It gets just as much foam as this. That one, this one, and the Griot's Boss get the most foam out of all of them. And build quality is fantastic on all those. And the MJJC just happens to be the cheapest. I offer for sale on my personal site. So if you guys are interested, it will be linked in the description below. Okay guys, now I have a hood panel. I'm just resting up against my van just because the hood panel is dark, so we're gonna be able to see the foam better than as opposed to the white. So I have a Tesla hood panel here. I'm gonna go ahead and fill the rest of this up with water, and then we'll test it on this panel. Now I will also be taking this solution, pouring it into the MJJC foam cannon so you can see the difference of what one of those premium, top performing, high foam producing foam cannon gets in comparison to this. Is it the same? Maybe. We're using that 1.1 orifice, which the MJJC has in it as well. So let's check it out. All right, guys, so I'm impressed. It got a good amount of foam, very, very good amount of foam. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna take this off and I'm gonna pour this into an MJJC Foam Cannon Pro bottle. This will be the unbranded one. It's the exact same thing, it's the V2. I sell both of them on my site. You can either get it branded or unbranded and see the difference. Now, I will say, guys, this thing foamed great. I'm very, very happy with the results. I did spray down the panel first, so it went on wet. That's what it got. Here we go with MJJC. Again, exact same fluid. Not adding any water, not adding any solution, just straight into the bottle. There we go. So as you guys can see, it's not, I mean, this definitely has more. Considerably more actually. You can see the wall, the thickness of the wall. And the reason I like it that thick and still with that much moisture is that you see it clings on, and then since it's so thick, it starts pulling everything down and removing a lot of the contamination before you even go into a contact wash. That's why I love that thing. But I gotta say that the Active surprised me quite a bit. I don't know if you guys can really tell. The MJJC is definitely getting more, but the Active got a considerable amount. And very, very close to the MJJC, really. And the MJJC, like I said, the MJJC, the MTM, and the Griot's Boss all have gotten the most. Now, if these are 10 out of 10s for those units, I would say that the Active little head unit here, I would say is probably an 8, 8.5. Very, very impressive. I'm very happy with the results that it got. Again, it's lacking a couple of features. The head unit does not change between vertical and horizontal, which those other ones do. And it's pretty basic, small mouth opening, which is not my favorite. The tube could be a lot more flexible. And it's metal on plastic, which isn't my favorite. But you know, like I said, the MTM is like that as well. But the MTM's plastic on that bottle does feel a little better. So it's interesting to me that they did brand the head, but they didn't brand the bottle or put any sort of measurement on it. But the results speak for themselves, guys. It got tons of foam. It did a fantastic job. It's nice that it comes with a 1.25 installed and then a 1.1. That's how the MJJC ships as well. I'm impressed. All right, so there you have it, guys. Very, very strong performance from the Active branded foam cannon. Now, I will say, guys, like I said, I think that they're going after the look of the MTM. But with that said, guys, it got a fantastic amount of foam. This one retails, the brass unit retails for $45, and the stainless steel version is $60. So $15 difference. Again, just go brass. I don't see any reason not to. I have to say that this is probably because it came with the 1.1 millimeter orifice that you could swap out, I would say this is probably the best performer foam cannon that I've seen under $50. Is it as good as the MTM, the MJJC, and those other ones that are more expensive? No, but it is close. With that said, you do miss a couple features, but overall, guys, very impressed with the performance. Now, I was looking, I've reviewed like every foam cannon out there that I've been able to find. This one and another one that really surprised me was this guy, the Armor All foam cannon. And I was just looking at them, and the head units seem to be the very exact same. Like, I'll get a video of them on my phone so you guys can see. Now, the Armor All one does come with a plastic head, so plastic on plastic, and even wider base, which I do like. I've loved this thing. I switched out the 1.2 and 1.1. It didn't come with it, but with the 1.1, it got fantastic foam. It's been a while. I can't remember if it was as good as the Active, but they're in the same ballpark. I think the Armor All is cheaper, so keep that in mind, but you will have to buy a 1.1 millimeter orifice to go in it. But let me go ahead and just film the heads next to each other so you guys can see just how similar they are. And I'm assuming that head unit is made by the same manufacturing plant because I remember this thing also got incredible foam. One thing on the Active that I did want to note is they actually have this, when you're at the widest point, they have these little cutouts. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. I'd never seen that, or at least never noticed that on any other foam cannon. Well, I went over to the Armor All one, and it has it. So again, and I haven't seen it on any of the others. So again, guys, I think they're probably made in the same place. I'll go ahead and get the video up for you. So let's check them out. All right, guys, so here are the two units. Very, very similar. Obviously, other than the connection point, very, very similar. If you look at the kind of ribbed design on the cone of the unit, the Armor All one has the exact same thing. Same nozzle or knob on top, as you can see. They both came brass on brass and then with a stainless steel connection point. Not all of them are like that, but these two are. I'm gonna tighten that down, that one's just been loose. And then even as far as, usually these pins are a little bit wider apart, and with these ones, they are the same distance between the two of them. So I really think that they're, I don't know this for sure, do not quote me on this kind of stuff, but they seem to be, I mean, there's a lot of coincidences, right? The cutout on the nozzle, the ribbed cage on the cone, the knobs on top, just the overall design. The only thing different is the connection point, or the wide mouth versus the small mouth. And again, for that, I do prefer the Armor All. I got this one at an O'Reilly Auto Parts store. I'll link that down below if I can find it. But I will also link the Active, and I will also link the MJJC that we used. I'll link it directly to the listing on my site, as well as on Amazon, so you can get it. I'll also include the MTM and the Griots, because those ones get the most foam as well. That one, the Griots, and the MJJC. So that's it, guys. I hope that video helps you. Again, Active is known for really strong performance out of their pressure washers, so I wasn't surprised that they got really good performance out of this thing. Again, the build quality, it seems a little generic, but the head unit is branded. Again, does seem to be probably out of the same plant as that one. But that's it, guys. I hope that video helps you. Please make sure to like the video, make sure you're subscribed, turn on that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one.